Yo, what's up, everyone? First live stream podcast I think I've ever done. So super pumped. We're gonna get started here at the top of the hour. So we got a few minutes to chill and welcome everyone in. Hope y'all are having a great start to the new year. Hope your year-over-year comps look juicy already. Ours do. It's great. It's very fun when all those numbers are very green. But I'm super excited for this podcast. And by the way, Tactical and Practical is coming at you live. I think every Wednesday at noon this year. So if you're tuning in, thanks so much for being here. This is where you're going to find me every single Wednesday at noon. Sometimes I might be out back by the barn, but we'll be live Wednesdays at noon. Block off your calendar. Let your internal team know, hey, I can't meet Wednesday at noon because Tactical and Practical is on. Can't miss it. All right, got a handful of us in here. I'm going to start the official pod in 4 minutes. Once the top of the hour hits. But in the meantime, talk to me. How are y'all? So you got 6 folks in here. What's going on, guys? How's life? Oh, sorry about that. Hope y'all are doing magnificent on this Wednesday morning. Talk to me. I saw a couple messages about some Facebook glitch going on. Anyone know anything about that? We haven't really seen it impact us, which is great. But I've seen a bunch of people complaining about it, so I know it's real. But I hope your ad accounts were spared. Hope everyone watching's having a cool, calm week. Hope everyone's enjoying Q1 CPMs again. I know we are for sure. What's in my cup? Don't ask that. That's an inappropriate question to ask, I think. No, I'm kidding. It's Red Bull. It's Red Bull, guys. Chill out. I know I'm still on the clock. All right, we got 2 minutes until I start the official episode where I'm going to be breaking down a new side hustle brand that I started a few months back. It's been super fun so far. Been super challenging and weird to take something from zero. It's not something I've really done before. So super excited to get into it. I'm also surprised at like how similar the tactics are from the brands that I run marketing for that are doing, 30, 40, 50 million a year. Compared to a brand that's done 30K in a few months. The tactics actually don't change a ton. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you're here, if you're in the chat, drop me a comment, say hey. I'm going to be starting the episode in 1 minute. We're getting there. Just got a DM that says comments aren't working for some of you. Is that true? There we go. Comments coming through. Luca, what's up, dude? Hey, man, your videos are crazy. Thanks for the value. Of course, dude. It's what I'm here for. It's community. Can be awesome when it's awesome, and I hope I can be a positive part of that. I've been helped by so many people in my career, so this podcast is just me trying to give back a little bit. But all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Tactical and Practical in 2026. We're a live show now. Watch out. I'm a streamer. I've been a podcaster for the last 2 years since I've introduced myself to strangers, but no more podcasting. I'm a streamer. Super excited to be back live here Wednesdays at noon Eastern every single week. Mark your calendars. you're going to want to be here. This episode I'm super excited to do because it's about a side hustle brand called Shootin' Doubles that I started in the back half of last year. And what has been so shocking to me is the similarities in the tactics I use from this brand. That's, it's done 30K in a couple of months, which is like no money. This brand has basically done nothing compared to the brands that I've run marketing for in my career that do, 30, 40, $50 million a year. The tactics really don't change much. The volume of what you can accomplish is obviously way more at the bigger brand. The velocity at which you can get data back and learnings and implement them is way easier at a bigger brand. But what I'm actually doing day to day doesn't change a whole lot. And I think that's super fascinating. So I wanted to put out this episode kind of comparing and contrasting my experience at bigger brands and my experience starting my own thing from zero. I think there's a lot to learn from it. And I think even running this side hustle brand, spending $200 a day of my own money on ads has made me better at my job where I'm spending 20 grand a day. So let's get into it. First, just kind of want to acknowledge the weird position that I'm in where I kind of did my ecom career backwards. I've never started from zero. Every full-time job I've had, the company was doing at least like 500K a year when I got there. And I learned how to go from 500K to 1.5 million a year. I learned how to go from 1 to 10 a couple times. I went from 6 to 30. I've been from 12 to 65. I know how to do all that, but I'd never gone from 0 to 1. So I was super pumped and a little bit nervous to try this out. So all of that brought me to launching Shootin' Doubles, shootindoubles.com if you want to support, by the way. But for now, it's this hat brand for whiskey guys. For now, it's just hats. I've got plans to do apparel and drinkware and even our own canned cocktails in the future. But for now, just hats. Wanted to start simple. I didn't want to mess with sizes for apparel or anything. And to be honest, I didn't want to sink that much into it. So just started with 6 or 7 hat designs. I kind of settled on this brand because I knew I was really good at selling stuff to whiskey guys. From my last job as the VP of marketing at Original Grain, I sold a whole bunch of whiskey barrel watches, which in a way I think is a harder sell than hats. They're way more expensive. So that's kind of what brought me here. I am also 1,000% the target audience for this brand, and I really built it for me. I saw a kind of gap in the market where the only whiskey themed apparel out there is from the distilleries, and my favorite distilleries are Jack Daniels and Buffalo Trace, but I don't always want to wear a Jack hat, and I don't always want to wear a BT hat. And to be honest, I don't think either of those brands do apparel all that well. So I wanted something quality in the whiskey world that was like kind of brand agnostic, something I can wear to a bar where I'm going to drink whiskey from 6 different distilleries while I'm there, without being a walking contradiction because I'm wearing a Jack hat ordering something from, BT. Now let me also be clear. This is not like a smart business to build. It's not the best business to build, certainly. It's low AOV. And until I launch 100 more SKUs, it's going to be low LTV too. There's no recurring revenue model. There's a bunch of reasons why this is not the optimal business to start. But that's not why I started it. I started this business specifically because I wanted to, and that was a good enough reason for me. That was going to keep me interested. That was going to keep me engaged and passionate about it. So that's kind of how I went into this. I wanted to build something for me and kind of hope and find out along the way if there's enough guys like me out there to turn this thing into a real brand. So first thing I want to talk about is organic content, which with the challenges of meta ads lately, I think everyone's finally starting to realize the importance of organic content. But starting a brand with 0 followers and posts and revenue, organic was like absolutely necessary. It became glaringly obvious that every organic impression mattered for us. I actually started the Instagram page and I started posting on it for like 6 months before I launched any products. 6 months before I knew what the products were going to be. I knew that one day I was going to build something in the world of whiskey. So I kind of just created this like whiskey kind of meme page, country music, lifestyle, all that sort of thing, and just went pretty hard on it. Since then, I've deleted a bunch of those posts because once I was ready to launch, there's some stuff I posted previously that like wasn't a great fit for the brand, so just kind of wanted a clean slate. But doing that, we were able to get up to like 3,000 followers on launch, which made the launch better than I thought it would be. And it wasn't anything crazy, but it was much better than selling 0 hats on day one. So that was a good little boost to kind of have somewhat of an organic audience when I was finally ready to sell. It also made users that came in from our ads who clicked on our Instagram, it made us look like way more legit than we were. It looked like, oh, we're a real brand who's been around for a minute. There's so many scams and crap out there that people are weary of. So I think it just kind of gave the launch a good feeling like, hey, this is a brand that someone's put a little bit of effort into. It's not all AI slop. And it's like there's a guy behind it, basically. To this day, I'm not doing enough organic content. You can scroll through Shooting Doubles Co. on IG. I really haven't posted that much because I have a full-time job and I'm a husband and a new dad and I got a bunch of other shit going on. But what's became painfully obvious is that every time I'm consistent about posting, we see a spike in revenue. And that's something that's like super easy to measure and like easy to see the effects of when the baseline brand is at 0. Basically at this size, like everything I'm doing is incremental and noticeable. So that helps keep me motivated. On the other hand, I created a brand that like our best content is like me drinking. And I don't want to drink 7 days a week. So I'm trying to like batch when I film without being hammered all the time, which is a harder needle to thread than you might think. But that's everything on organic. And when I see the results from this and I see that like, hey, no, impressions matter. And like, I think we had one reel do 70,000 views. Everything else sits like 3,000 to 4,000 views. But even though the numbers aren't that big, we see a correlation between that and site traffic and revenue. And that's going to be much harder to measure at a brand that's spending 20K a day on ads, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. And as I'm building kind of a new marketing organization at Adapt now, this is something I'm thinking about. It might be an internal team. It might be an external network of creators that are posting on our behalf. But I'm very conscious of the impact of organic impressions these days. And I think it's something that most of us are undervaluing and under-resourcing for because it's harder, because an organic impression doesn't come with a ROAS number next to it. But I think it's 100% something all of us could be investing more in, whether it's your tiny side hustle brand or whether it's a big 8-figure business. I think we all should be investing more in organic social content. All right, now I want to get on to ad creative, which I'm super excited about because I think I've got some ad creators that are absolute bangers. Let me try to share the screen. Should have tested the screen share before I started, but you know, we're going to do it live. First, let me just walk you through a product line here. So this is shootingdoubles.com, the simplest website you've ever seen in your life. These are our top 3 hats: Chief Whiskey Officer, and then one that says Life's Better with either Tennessee or Bourbon Whiskey. Tennessee's got the volunteer orange on it. But those are our top 3 top dogs. We got our brand one, a golf one, another Tennessee whiskey variation, and then no one likes these ones. I think they're cool, but no one does. It's all good. Got a shot glass too. But our best ad creative features our best selling product. This is our first one here on the left, the middle of your screen now. Super simple product photography on white. Then I made this in Canva. Just says introducing the whiskey drinking hat, made for the distinguished professional whiskey drinking degenerate. The caption says, "For the guys that can handle their whiskey like they handle their business, crown him with the title he deserves, Chief Whiskey Officer." I think this one works for a number of reasons. One, the product works. Like, it's really easy to make an ad for a product that people want. This is our top selling one. And I think based on the engagement we get on these ads, we're like, these ads have more shares than likes. And 800 shares on an ad is super high for ads I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on. This one hasn't spent that much. And engagement's on it, fantastic. What I'm trying to do here in the copy is appeals to people's identity, but also appeals to their routine and their normal kind of system and habits. By calling this the whiskey drinking hat, I'm kind of presuming, and it's hitting the right audience, that like, hey, whiskey drinking is a part of your life, right? It might be on Friday nights. It might be when you're out with friends. It might be when you're on vacation. But whiskey drinking is already a part of your life. I'm just calling this the whiskey drinking hat. So I'm almost trying to put in their heads that like, hey, if you're drinking whiskey without this hat, something is missing from the equation, because this is definitively the whiskey drinking hat. So that's kind of the headline here. I wanted to hammer it home. It's like, hey, this habit is already a part of your life, but there's a piece of it you're missing. And I'm not trying to make it seem like my hat's the center of that habit, because it's not. The center of that habit is the whiskey, the connection and conversations you're having with friends while you're enjoying it. I'm not trying to be the superhero here. I'm just trying to say like, hey, this little accessory, this little tool in your toolkit makes the whiskey drinking time better, because it is the whiskey drinking hat. Subtext here: made for the distinguished professional whiskey drinking degenerate. I think it's a fun piece of copy that draws a lot of comparisons and contrastations. I don't know. But calling someone a distinguished professional and then a degenerate, I think puts into words what a lot of people feel like. People who are buying $40 hats from me, I'm guessing, are not like desperate alcoholics, because I think every dollar is going towards booze for them. These are people that like probably have their lives together. And I think even having, the CWO, the C-suite title, where it's somewhat aspirational here, of like, these people have their lives together, so they likely are professional. They likely do know how to carry themselves in most situations. But there's a little piece of them, maybe it's that piece in them that was left over from college, that still kind of identifies as like a whiskey drinking degenerate. Like, hey, I'm going to be professional all week, but Friday night when we go out, I'm having 11 drinks. I'm going to have fun, cut loose. So I think that's kind of what this appeals to. All right, that's the top ad that crushes super hard. None of the rest of these even come close, but I wanted to share them. This next one, great engagement again, because it's the same product. And this one, I went with a different tactic on the copy. I kind of wanted to gatekeep this. I kind of wanted to make this seem like, hey, this is only for like the real whiskey guys. So I say your blood alcohol level must be above 0.08 to buy this hat. And like I said, it hasn't done what the first ad's done, but has done pretty well. This next one was a fun one I did. I went out to the bar one night and drank $300 worth of nice whiskey. Took a picture of the hat next to the receipt and said simply, "Whiskey guys love this hat." This one's like a little bit of rage bait. One, because the prices at this bar are outrageous. I paid $75 for 2 ounces of a Jack Daniel's special blend. I paid $140 for 1 ounce of Pappy Van Winkle. Had a couple Basil Hayden Ryes. Had a Jack 10-year. All in all, it was $300. So the prices are like a little bit rage baity. And then I think $50 is kind of a low tip for this. I gave them cash too. But I wanted to do like a borderline low tip. So I didn't seem like a piece of shit, but like it's gotten some comments of like, oh, you probably should have tipped more. I did. Don't worry. But I think we did some similar marketing like this around showing the bar tab when I was at OG. And it crushed every time. I think we all can relate to like, oh, shoot, I spent too much at the bar last night. So this kind of image crushed. As you can see, good engagement, good shares, and this ad's done really well. Now, a couple, our last two ads for some other products, super simple. This hat is as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. Stole that line from Chris Stapleton. Haven't gotten sued yet. And then I think the caption says, yeah, it's whiskey hats as sharp and classic as the guys who wear them. That's something I've done a ton, where I try to kind of compare the quality and the positive attributes that the product has with the people who buy it and use it and wear it. So this one's done pretty good. Engagement's not pulling through on this. Maybe it was really bad. I don't know. But this ad works. Maybe I grabbed the wrong link, but it was this image that's done really well. Last up was our bourbon hat. It says, finally, a hat that says exactly what I've been thinking. Some bottles in the background to kind of filter out anyone who doesn't like whiskey. And then just super simple picture of the hat. Same caption on it. Much better engagement on this one. So that's it for ad creative. Admittedly, I've not done nearly enough here. That's the theme of this whole episode, by the way. I have not done a good job with this. This is not me telling you that I'm killing this new side hustle thing. That's not what's going on at all. This whole thing is hey, these simple tactics generate revenue for me, whether I'm working on a brand that no one's ever heard of that's done 30K in its lifetime, or whether I'm working for a brand that's done 150 million in its lifetime and doing 40 a year. Both these tactics work and drive revenue. That's what I'm trying to compare here. Last up, I've been testing copy for this brand super hard. And I think for the first time in my career, I found copy that beat gift giving messaging during December, during a gift giving time, which is super interesting to me. But the copy here is a copy that's on our homepage currently. It says, for the guys that can handle their whiskey like they handle their business, crown them with a hat that can keep up with every round he pours. Again, I was super surprised to see this. I forget exactly what the other variation was, but it was something about getting a great gift for whiskey guys for Christmas, which again, I've almost always seen work during the holiday shopping season. But maybe we were so close to Christmas that everyone knew. This is also a lower AOV than I'm used to working with. So maybe it's not as giftable as an item. And maybe more guys were buying it for themselves. So the kind of more whiskey guy copy you want. But yeah, that has been my experience launching Shootin' Doubles so far. And like I said, it's not killing it. I'm not making it rain. But it's showing some signs of working. It's been really interesting and fascinating, and it's made me kind of rethink a lot of the way that we think about marketing for 8 and 9 figure brands by starting from zero, by getting back to the fundamentals to kind of really understand what moves the needle. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all today. I hope you guys liked this first episode of Tactical and Practical. It is sponsored by Intelligems. You saw the blue bars earlier. That was my entire tech stack to start. Shopify, Klaviyo, Intelligems. That was it. That's all you need to get started. So shout out them. And I'll be back next week, Wednesday at 12. Mark your calendars. Every week I'll be live for a new episode of Tactical and Practical. Thanks so much for listening.